What's up, everybody? This is Shari Hensley, and I'm a realtor living and working right here on Galveston Bay. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living in Galveston, well, boy, are you in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 things you must know before buying a waterfront home. I'm not going to leave the best for last, but I will tell you number 7 is often my buyer's number 1 thing. So stick around and find out what that is. Do you just want a beachfront property or a water view? Maybe walking distance to the beach? Or are you an avid fisherman or boater and maybe a canal, bay, or Gulf access is a must-have? Number 1 is all about access. Are you looking for beachfront, bay, or Gulf access? Maybe casual sunset cruising with family and friends? Jump on the jet skis or kayaking? Maybe you just want bayfront or beach access to chill. Is getting to the open water important to you, or you just want to play on the water? Do you want to get out on the boat as much as possible? How many times a month will you want to get out for that fishing trip on the bay or offshore on the Gulf? Will you fish on the bay or on the beach? How long it takes to get out of the bay or offshore fishing could be a really important factor, and that really depends on where you dock your boat. Keep in mind the island is about 32 miles long. You'll need to go around the east end of the island to the ship channel or down to the San Luis Pass on the west end for offshore fishing. The Intercoastal Canal runs through Galveston Bay, and you can literally follow it for hundreds of miles. For offshore fishing, you need a boat longer than 25 foot with about 2 motors. A bigger boat will mean you have to rent a boat slip at one of the marinas, as it may be too big to fit in the boat slip at most homes. If you can't dock your boat at your home, you may want to consider a home on a dry lot near the water. They tend to be a little bit less expensive than waterfront lots, and you can trailer your boat to a launch site in the subdivision, on the bay, or have it stored at one of the marinas in Galveston. There are 3 types of waterfront homes in Galveston: bayfront, canal front, and beachfront. Houses that front the bay are more expensive because the views of the open water out the back door are fantastic, and oh my gosh, those sunsets. Canal houses may be a little bit less expensive because you have a neighbor behind you and on the other side of the canal. Not to mention the trip out of my canal to the bay takes me 15 to 20 minutes. But on the plus side, with canal houses, you can fish right off your pier, and it really is just a short trip to your favorite fishing spot on the bay. I love my canal home. In our subdivision, we've seen otter, manatee, and a shark. The canal changes with the tide, and the wildlife is plentiful. We've got roseate spoonbills, pelicans, cormorants, and the wildlife, there is so much more. Now, this is really important. You're going to want to visit the property during high tide and low tide. Take it from me, there is nothing worse than the anticipation of planning a fishing trip with friends or family, getting loaded up in the boat, going down the canal, and finding out the water level is too low to get under the bridge to get to the bay. Number 2, neighbors. This is the one that I say most people don't even think about. Talk to the neighbors who better know what's going on in the neighborhood. Ask them what they like and don't like about the neighborhood. Do they have their own wastewater treatment plant or mud district? Is it in good condition? Do they have their own city government or HOA? The neighbors will generally know what goes on around there. Any of these factors could affect your lifestyle. What happens if the water system isn't in good condition? Is there any scuttlebutt about an increase in mud taxes? Is there a special assessment being discussed by the HOA for canal dredging or others? Any of these factors could really affect your lifestyle and your pocketbook. So talking to the neighbors will be your best insight as to what you can expect happening in the neighborhood. Number 3, insurance. If you live near Galveston Bay, you're going to need windstorm and flood insurance. Galveston County is a high-risk county. Generally speaking, the closer you are to open water, the higher the rate will be. For example, if you have a house on a canal and you're at the front of the subdivision near a main road, the insurance may be cheaper than if you're at the end of the street near an open body of water, bay, or the Gulf. Number 4, elevated houses. Galveston is no stranger to wicked weather. Galveston has experienced the Great Storm of 1900, where a lot of the island was destroyed and over 8,000 lives were lost. Galveston subsequently raised the island and built a seawall. Today, most of the homes are on piers or the living areas elevated 12 feet or up to avoid flooding from those storms. The higher your home is built, the less expensive the insurance. This also gives you a reprieve from the sun under the house and a great place to park your vehicles, cook crawfish, and relax. Are you considering buying a waterfront property on Galveston Bay? Comment below, tell me where you're going to move and why. I get so many phone calls, emails, and texts from people just like you who are looking to relocate, buy a vacation home or short-term rental, and I absolutely love it. Feel free to reach out to me and set up your own personal consultation. Number 5, boathouses. Boathouses come in all shapes, sizes, and costs run from $15,000 to well over $40,000, depending on the size you need for your boat and other features. I love my boathouse deck to entertain. Maybe you want a palapa to shield you from that harsh Texas sun. You can't see them, but worms, yes, worms. We have marine boar worms in Galveston. They live in the bay waters and they love wood pilings. You can kind of think of them like sea termites. You can protect your pilings from them by putting a plastic PVC pipe around the piling. Number 6, bulkheads. If you're thinking about buying a house on a canal or facing the bay, you want to make sure you have a contractor who specializes in building and repairing bulkheads inspected. You want to see the life left in this bulkhead, so you know if you need to replace it in the immediate future or even the near future. You really want a bulkhead specialty contractor to come out at low tide so he can see more of the bulkhead. Now, your basic home inspector is a generalist, so please remember this, hire a specialist. This is so important, y'all. Please see my home inspection mistakes video for more details. Boats going up and down the canals create wakes that cause water to be forced into the cracks of the bulkhead. Now, this is going to cause your backyard to erode over time. That's why you'll see signs in canal subdivisions that say, no wake zone, 5 miles per hour. If you are going faster than 5 miles an hour, you're probably creating a wake, and you can count on the neighbors yelling at you to slow down. The wakes tend to be large or smaller depending on the shape of the hull. Generally, the deeper the hull, the bigger the wake. Most bay boats have a shallow hull so they can navigate in the shallow water. Bulkhead replacement can run $15,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on the feet of water frontage you have on your property. Installation takes 10 to 14 days, and you will need to replace all, listen to me y'all, all of your landscaping after the contractor finishes. I just went through this at my canal house. It was interesting to watch. The contractor has to drive down several 8-foot posts in your yard, about 12 feet behind the bulkhead. Then they tie them off to the bulkhead with steel rods so the bulkhead doesn't lean forward and fall into the canal after a heavy rain. Older bulkheads are either wood or concrete, and the newer ones are generally concrete or marine vinyl. Vinyl bulkheads are guaranteed to last 20 to 50 plus years, depending on the thickness of the vinyl. Smash that like button and subscribe to this channel, and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. The most important item if you're considering buying a home on the water is using a realtor that is experienced in buying and selling waterfront property. They can help you negotiate the best offer and point out the pros and cons. So y'all, those are just some of the things that we look for when buying a waterfront property. I love working with my clients that want to buy waterfront properties. If you want to schedule a consultation, just give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I'd be honored to work with you in your next purchase or sale. I hope you've got some good information out of this video, and if you did, you're definitely going to want to check out the next one.